welcome to hanging out with us.
Yes.
Yes. And now
So hit
I'm
that note.
stuck. Hey, beautiful lady.
Go ahead and sum it up because sometimes it's hot.
Rain here almost every day. We've had rain for the past month, almost every day.
Yeah, yeah. St.
It's
Louis
hot.
was flooding. Yesterday was a horrible storm. It was scary to drive, and it was lightning and thundering. Everybody was lightning. Some big like, Lord, I don't Lord, just let my car just get through. It's been crazy here, so yeah.
It's not. It's been really, but it's summertime here. For the last couple of weeks, been kind of wet, cold, not really hot. And I'm sorry, and humidity. So can we just have heat, humidity throughout the summer? The heat, but with all this here, let me put it up.
Shirt today. Last week we were half one my food. It's okay not to be okay.
That's right.
It's okay
That
not to be
is
okay. That's something that people need to be aware of. You don't have
Yeah.
to always everything going perfect. Be perfect. It's okay not to be okay.
That's normal. That's life. Because every
Mhm.
day is peaches and creams and sunshine and rainbow.
No.
Yeah.
And if it is, y'all need to let me know how that works. Listen.
Right.
There
Y'all
is-
need to teach the coaches, honey, because yeah.
Okay.
Seriously, because it's not,
That's
not
not how it
always
works.
peaches and creams over here. And
Exactly.
I've totally given myself the freedom to be real with that and accepting that, hey, it's a crappy day, or I'm in a crappy mood today, or I don't feel like being or be how I am for right now.
Yes. I agree. I agree. As we should.
Live our emotions.
Start the show. Give a shout out to my baby, because my baby turned 14 today. Today is my birthday day. That's what I like to call it. Because without me, it would be no her. Okay. So
All right then.
happy 14th, girl. The last of the tribe. Looking at
You know what? I just have to share it. Yeah, I see how Can you say that? She got some cash.
Yep. Happy birthday.
I'm so happy they come because it was like the store. Both of that what happened on the like
You were not out or something.
I wasn't there. I was in the cafeteria while the stork was. That's my story.
We knew. Like, if you only knew.
If you only
I never even had it when I gave birth.
really
You over here.
Baby. That was it.
age was my quick labor and birth. I got there, he came fast. But it was the longest. And you know what, Darius was like Anna was like early and on time. And so, like I had this fear everyone would say multiple the more children you have, the better they get. 8 pounds, 3 ounces. So he started the whole journey. I was like, but for me, it went backwards. So 7, 9, and Anna was 13. I got she right on out. I told her at midnight when I went there, that's officially you. It's
That's what my baby.
Listen, little boy, we got 6:59. You were like, we gotta wait. Wait. He was, no, that's not how it works.
right.
That's not how it
Only we could try it that way. Now, see if that was the case. But Darius was at 15 in the morning, so he'd only have to wait 15 minutes, and he was here. And Miles was at 1:08 in the morning, so all he'd have to do was just give it a little time. But that daughter, he was the only child born during the daylight hours.
And it's like
Well, I had my daughter at work.
at work.
At work. In the parking lot.
Oh,
Jenny, how'd you do that?
I was at work. And it was Subway at the time. You know, back in the day I was working at Sub. And I had gotten off from work and I wanted to take my boys to the fair. We went to a little carnival and stuff started hurting. It's like, okay, I want to go home. I want to rest. And my mom was with me. And I said, I want to rest. And when I got to the house, all of a sudden the pain started, the contraction started right when I got to the house. And her father had left the house to go get some ice all day, every day. So I was craving ice. So he was like, I'm going to go get some ice. So the pain started. My mom, she's trying to get him. And he comes over and I'm not putting it in my car because, like I said, I have my children really quickly. So he knew when I said I was getting ready to have a baby. So he was freaking out. I had the baby in the car. So she called the ambulance. They came to pick me up and they pulled over because I said, it's time. He pulled over, and where he pulled over is right at my job, right in the Subway, right there. And when I looked up, I said, I'm at Subway, I'm at work. And I told him, and so they all came out and watched the damn baby be born. My child is cursed. She loves Publix. She loves sandwiches. So she was born to the hospital.
Wow.
My job.
Wow. That's different.
Very good.
All three of my kids were born while I was working at the water company. So I call them the water company babies because I had all three on the water company's dime. So there we have it.
The water company babies.
The water.
The water company
Okay.
baby.
We've been hearing a lot, or people been asking us a lot about life coaching and what is it compared to therapy. Anybody want to chime in on that?
No.
Sure she does. Input.
I mean, I could kick it off. Life coach, and a lot about what life coach is versus what it isn't, and what we know for sure, we're not therapists, right? A therapist kind of look back and they help figure out past hurt and things that may have happened, kind of stuff, and kind of dig into your mental space a bit more than, or more so than therapy, than coaching does. Don't understand what mechanics of therapy is from a professional standpoint. I know it is a key component to understanding in certain situations, understanding what has happened in the past that causes me to be to heal those wounds and move forward. That's my basic understanding of therapy. Coaching is look forward, right? It's working with and how we can action together to get you where you're going. So we're not looking back, we're kind of looking forward. I think it's a good idea to, if you need therapy, absolutely it works well together where you can deal with what happened, what you need to heal from, coupled with coaching. Sometimes it is possible, but that I think is a conversation that you should have with your therapist to see if it's recommended, because maybe it isn't at that. But definitely, from just a very layman terms kind of understanding, therapy helps you figure out what is behind you. Coaching helps you figure out what's here and going forward.
I agree completely. Coaching is future driven, and coaching is we're more so, like I always tell people, as accountability partners. We're not telling you what to do, we're just helping you get through, and you're figuring out what to do, but we're holding you accountable for what it is. So a lot of times friends, and my friends will tell me, but your friends will always be there to tell you. You tell your friends, well, I'm going to the gym and I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times next week, and I need you to make sure I do it. Well, if your friend ain't really gonna hold you accountable, that's not something they're going to do. You get you a coach. A coach is gonna be like, okay, you said today at 6 a.m. you're going to the gym. They're gonna keep you stay on top of you with that. Therapy, hand with your mental health, works with your traumas. A lot of times people feel like they're don't work with a situation, but you're going through something currently that you need to get through. But therapy will help you through it. And sometimes your situations are also your transgressions and things that you dealt with in the past. So because of therapy will help you get through it. Therapy will help you get a clearer what it is you were trying to go through. A lot people. We are our biggest barrier and biggest trying to clear ourselves. So a lot of times in therapy, you don't want to deal with certain things. Now, I will say life coaches on certain things depending on what the coach or what the coaches do. I always tell people I touch a little bit on dealing with because that's going to help your growth for your future. So, but honestly, we therapists, they accept and policies and some accept cash, but some accept coaches accept insurance. So that's a big factor right there. You got to pay it. All the insurance companies say, "Are you a part of the network?" Because we're not a part of it. Therapy usually is kind of sometimes long term. Sometimes people go to therapy for a lifetime. But most time with coaching programs, it's short term, depending on the program. Programs can be anywhere from a month to it's not much longer. So that is another big factor and difference is the timeline for you, because a lot of times you're not going to be able to get everything that you need to go through with therapy in 6 months. A lot of the times the things that we're dealing with are things childhood traumas like what it's with, but with childhood traumas that you just never wanted to deal with and face. So you have to take a longer period of time to deal with that and let that go. What else? Oh, therapists are usually licensed by the state. Coaches are certified. So that is a huge as well. We are also certified. All three of us are certified in multiple areas at that. But therapists are usually licensed by the state of whatever state you reside in. So that is another big difference between what a therapist and a life coach is. Okay, I think that's all I have on my notes. Because
and I totally agree with the two ladies. Everything that they said is fact, and we are certified. But I do want to say that you run across life coaches for life. Your pastor can be a life coach. Your teachers can be a life coach. Your best friend is a life coach. If you're the type of person that someone's always coming to you for advice or something positive, some positive that because a lot of times we need that. We need somebody in our life to hold us accountable for the things that we do and the things that we see and how we react or act. So anybody can actually be a life coach. However, if it's something that you're interested in doing, become certified with it. You know what I'm saying? Once you become certified, then you can get paid for suggestions or advice. So become certified as a life coach because you're giving good advice. Life coaches are people of experience. There's different levels of life coaching. Like she said, I deal with women that's through childhood trauma, that's mental trauma, domestic violence. I would talk to someone who's been through domestic violence, but what I do is try to get you focused on today and not deal with or still live in the past. So I want to help you with your current life and moving forward and moving beyond that. So there's different life coaches for different things. Tara is a emotional intelligence coach, and Miss Leanna, you go to her when you're feeling down about yourself. You need a pep me up. You go to Leanna because Leanna will get you right. Like I said, watch her video. She will get you right. So there's different life coaches. We can't prescribe like your therapist would. That's not something that we do. But we do hold you accountable. We are like the best friend or, someone that you look up to or want to receive advice from. Yeah. But as a whole, we just explained to you what coaching is and what we do.
Yeah. And it's important to also note, right, that life relationship, right? It's a co-creative relationship with the client. Oftentimes people approach life coaching as, tell me what to do. I want you to tell me how to be better. Truth, you have the power to light that fire and get you going. Mm-hmm. We want the purpose of being life coaches. We want you, the people that we serve, the market that we serve, to be the best that you can be in whatever capacity that you want to grow in. We want to help you get there. Definitely something that I think, every person should have a life coach, right?
Right.
Stuck. We all stand our own way. We all fall short. You set a goal, and before you know it, 3 months pass and you haven't done a thing. I'm guilty, and just continues to move. You move through life without growing, without expanding. And, having a life coach, I think, helps to keep you focused.
And most times, as a life coach, a lot of times you don't believe in yourself. That's why you want us, because you believe in yourself and you know you can, but you're just not sure. You have that doubt in yourself. So we believe in you, and we light up that fire to help you see what we see, believe in you. And that's a lot what I do with my butterflies. I'm like, hey, I know you can. What did I say in that song? I know you can be what if you work hard at it, you're gonna be where you want to be. So I always feel like there's a positive aspect of you. I know you can. Can't is not a word that's in the vocabulary around here. So
yeah, and seek a life coach if you're looking for non-biased opinions. Sometimes talking to your friend or your relative, your mom, your dad, or whomever you're talking to, they're biased. They're going to tell you just what you want to hear. So when you reach out to a life coach and you start discussing your problems or whatever's going on in your life, you want someone that's non-biased, that doesn't know you like that, is not looking to put a smile on your face because you feel like that you're right. So another reason to look for a life coach is to, again, accountability. Hear someone who don't know anything about you other than what you're telling them.
Exactly. So if y'all ever have any questions about what a coach is, what a life coach are you, because I have had people go and reach out to me and be like, well, are you the same therapist? No, ma'am, no sir, no, don't do the same thing. We are not the same. And I understand we have a lot of similar roles because we talk and we keep you encouraged, but no, we are not the same. So if you have questions, you can still always reach out. Always give you the same answers.
Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, us as life coaches, we need life coaches. Perfect people just like you.
Yes, we do.
These ladies are my life coach. They will tell me about myself if I'm talking crazy or need someone to help me, or if I'm feeling discouraged, I can go to my life coaches. I just happen to have sisters that are life coaches. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, on Tuesday, both coached me. And I'm the little sister, but they surely coached me on Tuesday. They was like, look at this and look at this. And look, there's an opportunity in here too. So look at this. So yeah. So we do coach each other because coaches need coaches. Regardless how successful a coach is, we all start somewhere. We all have mentors or other coaching friends that we lean on and talk to keep us going. So it's.
And I will say too, like some of our letters, right, that we receive, they borderline therapy needing, and for those we kindly just respond and say, hey, listen, this is outside of our scope. So we do get that question a lot, right? Is this, I need a therapy, or I need therapy, or I need a therapist, or when you read through, the details of it, sounding like therapy. And we wanted to have this discussion to clear the air and kind of put it out there, the differences between the two.
Yes.
So when you write us letters, we can really help you, as opposed to kicking it back with a politely, I'm sorry, I can't help you, this needs another layer,
right,
or something else.
And even when people come to me for services, if I feel like the services that they are requiring is a little more than what I can do for them, I refer them to therapy. So, I mean, because sometimes people don't understand the difference. So, you have to refer them out. And then after therapy, baby, come see me. Come
Come
holler at me.
back.
Sometimes it's some things that you need to work through. You
Yeah.
have to work through before you can reach out to a life coach. Like we said,
Right.
we are the ones that's going to hold you accountable. We are the ones that's going to give you suggestions or life suggestions. But sometimes you need a little bit more help, and
Yeah.
it's our responsibility as professionals to refer you
Be
to
honest about
whoever
that. Yeah.
can help you.
Yeah.
I agree. So, if anybody saw on Jenny's page or my page, we shared this clarity letter. And you were asking if you had any input, but you could be watching and if you have any input. But we're going to read this lovely letter tonight. Those of you that are watching, so that you can listen to what we be getting. Because I'm telling y'all, baby, listen, I read this letter. Ooh, that's all I'm going to say. I was like, girl. Anyway, who's reading the letter tonight? Do we even figure it out? I'll read it. That's fine.
You,
It's right here ready. That's fine. Since I didn't brought it up, I'll go ahead and read
you,
it. That's
Appreciate
fine. All right. So tonight's letter says, Dear coaches, I miss the way things were. My husband and I have been married for 35 years. We got married very young, barely 20, but we made it all these years. We have a beautiful family, adult children and grandchildren. I've always been a housewife, and my husband is getting to retire in a few years. He has always made a decent living and provides for us well. I've been very proud of our family and my husband, and I love my kids and husband very much. They are the air I breathe. When my children were children, they kept me busy, running them around to all their activities, and maintaining a home is work. Let nobody fool you. It's hard work being a housewife. Anyway, the kids started school. As you can imagine, I had a lot of free time and often felt lonely, bored, and I missed companionship. Sadly, I gave into the temptation and started dating a married man for more than 10 years. We aren't in love. Our relationship, we created boundaries early in the relationship because we had a lot to lose. Neither of us were unhappy in our relationship. We simply were bored, and because we have an understanding that has been working all these years, we don't want it to end. My friend, quote unquote, is very loving, and so is my husband. I'm experiencing the best of both worlds. The problem I am having is my husband is retiring in a few years, which will mean he will be home. He will be home all the time. This will have a grave impact on my time and my friendship. I don't want to leave my husband to accept my friendship and allow me to continue seeing my friend. I tried to tell him about my plans, and it did not go well, as you can imagine. We've always had an open and honest relationship. We talk about everything, so I figured letting him know my thoughts would have been acceptable to him. He was very upset when I shared how lonely I was when the kids were young and when they left home. He feels betrayed and hurt. He told our children, and they too feel like I betrayed our family. Everyone is judging, but failing to see and loneliness I felt when they all left each day to tend their own lives. My husband went as far as to tell my friend's wife, which also created a problem in his home. Now my friend blames me and says our friendship is over. That's the ultimatum his wife gave him. How can I not be worth keeping to him? How can my husband not be willing to forgive me? Why are my children so angry? I am at a loss. 2 months ago, my friend and I met with each other. We slept together and it felt like old times. I was very happy and that I couldn't felt hopeful that I could make things work. He said he wanted to try, but said I would have to be okay with him seeing other people. I told him I would not be okay with that. Why should I lower my standards and share him with someone other than his wife? No one knows we hooked up, but I feel like telling his wife since she thinks he chose her over me and is being faithful. If my husband finds out, he may leave me for good, so I better not do that. We are in a terrible place. I would like to heal our relationship. I want to reconnect with my children. I would like for us to be a family again. I want my friendship to mend also. Things were great. I want my old life back. I want things to. Looking back, I should have never told my husband about what I wanted to do. If I had said nothing, everything would be perfect for the next couple of years before retirement. I let myself down in so many ways. Please help me in my broken relationships. The end.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I can't help her.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Didn't I just say that if I can't help you, then it's our responsibility to tell you that you need therapy?
Yeah.
I can't help her. I
This
can't.
goes far beyond therapy.
So I'm gonna let Tara take it from here.
Oh my goodness. So there's so much to unpack here, right? Because it's almost like you're dealing with two personalities, two different individuals, right? Um there's you she's saying she's disappointed in herself, right? Or she let herself down. If we start from the bottom and work our way up to the top, I kind of went through this letter bottom to top, top to bottom, and sideways, trying to figure out how to make it make sense. Um,
No.
she's disappointed in herself, or she let herself down, whatever language she used, right? And if that statement is true, right? She is feeling like she let herself down, but in what capacity? As a wife, as a to your friend, where you are you disappointed that things went sour with him? um what are you disappointed about, right? And I don't get a sense of remorse. I don't get a sense of wanting to really heal the relationships. I think you want to put the pieces back together so that it can function in the dysfunction that you created, versus really mending and moving forward in a way that is truly progressive, wholesome, healed, really together. As you're saying, your family is the air you breathe. Yet the letter doesn't read that way. um your husband is brokenhearted, he's disappointed, he's hurt. You're pointing out the fact that no one is understanding how lonely you felt. I think your husband and your children would understand you were lonely if you just left it there. If you felt lonely and you opened up to them about being lonely, right? And being, you felt like you didn't have a life, right? As they went out to tend to their life, you were just left at home. But the fact is, in that role as as a housewife, you're really a manager of your entire family. So that's a huge responsibility. That's a hell of a role for any person to step into, right? You're
Right.
taking care of your home, your family, how your household functions falls on your shoulder. It's not something to, "Oh, I'm just bored. I'm just sitting here and send the kids off to school. My husband went out to work and I'm just bored sitting here." I'm sure there are times where maybe you did feel bored, but at the end of the day, you have to really fall into that position of taking care of your family. That was your primary role, which was a key role, and they trusted you to do it, right? Your husband trusted you to take care of his kids and in the home, and they trusted you to take care of them in the home and their dad, right? That was a part of your vows, your responsibility, right? So I'm sure he would have understood the boredom, right? And the loneliness that you felt if you voiced it in a way that really said, "Listen, I need something more," because they could have helped you figure it out. But how did that boredom lead you to cheating for 10 plus years? Right? I mean, so your letter does not read as someone who wants help to move forward, right? And then you mention you don't want to share your friend with anyone else but his wife. That in itself is problematic, right? It speaks to your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself, your emotional well-being, really needs to be focused on. And as Ginny said, we got to refer you someplace else, because there probably are things that you have to deal with. You've been with this individual for since you were what, barely 20, right? So 19, maybe almost 20, whatever. That's your entire life, right? You don't know anything else, well, except when you decided to cheat, right? And create this life separate from your husband and your children. So wanting us to help you to figure out how to live in that dysfunction is not what we do, right? We don't want you to be in a dysfunctional relationship, not with yourself, not with your children, not with your husband. Um, you have caused chaos not only in your home, in the home of your friends and in his marriage, right? So that, I mean, you're at the root of a lot of pain that you caused. And to have the expectation that your husband should understand how you feel and he should be okay with it is unreasonable and very, I'm hurt for him because he sounds like a decent man who did what he was supposed to do. And all you did was just, I can't even say the word on him, right? You really, you dishonored your marriage, you dishonored your husband, and you even said it. You lived well. So what you thank him by sleeping with someone else. You thank him by being dishonorable. Yeah, I sorry, but we don't do that here. We're not going to help you mend a fence so that you can live in dysfunction.
Live your
It's
double
not
life,
it's not
because that's more so what you're doing is living a double
that,
life.
and that's literally her ask. Help me to fix things so that we can go back to what we were. No. Jenny's face is like so
So I have so
hurt.
many questions that need so many answers, but I know I won't get them. And maybe you'll write us back and give me the answers. But like there are so many things that you can do when you get bored besides finding a man and a married man. So neither one of y'all are respecting your vows or your relationship.
No. And not, they're not respecting each other, they're not respecting themselves. Like this is a whole mess. A whole
I
mess.
do completely agree with I agree with Tara, but I do completely agree with Jenny when she says that you need therapy. You do, because there are some things within you that you need to work on. There are some deep things that you might not want to face, because a lot of times we sweep everything under the rug because we okay. It looks good on the outside, but on the inside we are crumbling. So there are some things that you do need to deal with deeply. You and your husband need marriage counseling because you've broke build of trust. And once it's broken, it's usually hard to get back unless you both work hard for it. If he's giving you this second realm and said, okay, but you've already brought it, because what you do, you went snuck and messed with the man again.
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot
She
that's going in this.
doesn't
It's a
want
whole
to
lot.
be
She
Yeah.
was her cake,
And the
and she
blaming. I think that's what bothered me the most. The fact
The
that she was blaming, like,
blaming.
she's blaming her kids for having a
Yes.
life. So you blaming your kids for being kids. You're blaming your husband for being a provider and being a husband, but you're the one that's not being the wife and the mother.
right, right.
I, yeah.
And so
You're
she's upset
blaming
that
them.
they
She's blaming and punishing, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
blaming
right,
them. You're pointing a finger at them. And then you're also attacking them with and your callous behavior. At the end of I mean, there's so much that could have happened in addition to the trust, right? The broken trust and just you being however you are, whatever that word is. Y'all could think of the word. But you could have, there's STDs, there's you could have, come on, why? Because you're bored? That I don't buy that boredom. So I do think that there's something there that she needs to deal with that's below the surface. Getting married that young, maybe there were a lot that she didn't learn or needed to experience. Maybe there were things that happened in her childhood that she didn't tend to. And then from there, she segued into this life of a wife and having kids. And it's like she just transitioned from being a kid to this adult life, like adult, because now you have a whole responsibility of a house and a husband and a child or children to take care of. So
I
there
want to
were,
know, as open as your marriage is, not saying that it was right, but you just thought it was okay to just roll over and say, "Hey, babe, I want to keep messing with my friend because me and him been." I like what? That just doesn't click.
yeah,
Doesn't click. Just rolling over. Hey, babe, just wondering. I've got this friend for like 10 years, and I just thought that maybe it'd be okay that me and him could still be friends. Even after you retire, so I'll be dipping off a couple of times a week. Like,
yeah. After that man don't work all these years, provided that he can't even retire and be at home because he's about to be in messing up your situation.
exactly. So it's like you don't want him because you don't want him to be a part of what you got going on. And
Do
we
you
can't help
love
you,
your
baby.
husband? I don't think.
That's a good question.
I think she's in love with the life that he provided. But not him.
Mhm.
It's less
I
about
agree.
him and just more of whatever he was giving. And her friend, he doesn't. I mean, he obvious. If he's cheating on his wife, ma'am, he's gonna be cheating on you too. So
Well, that's why he already opened up the door and said, "Well, if we gonna do this, I need to have men outside of my wife." So he
but he
already said
had
he
other
not worried
women
about his
too.
marriage.
And of all people, he expected for you to understand that.
Oh, and she should.
You should have
Exactly.
understood that.
You should have understood that. You should have understood. You should have said, yes, okay, thank you very much. I will do it. And because why wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Because with nobody outside his wife, and now she want to throw it like this is a messy letter. She want to throw it in the wife's face and say, "Oh, you thought he was being faithful, and he ain't."
And
How
he,
old are you?
right, right. That part, that part.
I
How
still got him
can
looking
you?
Leanna
at
done
you.
turned her whole head sideways. She done turned
Cause I'm like, I'm so bothered. I am so bothered. Cause baby, I'm sorry. It take a lot of stuff to get me riled up, but baby, this whole letter had me
Yes,
so bothered. I'm
yes.
trying to figure it all
It
out. It's not
I
calculating
was,
really well.
I was lost when she was saying that their relationship was just sexual. First of all, you've been with this man for 10 years, ongoing for 10 years.
And it's
Women
just
don't
sex.
do that.
Women
Women
don't
really
do
don't do
No,
that.
that.
you can't tell me
We
you've
get
been with this
emotionally
man
tied
sexually for 10
quickly.
years and there's
Because
no emotion tied to
and
it.
and here's the thing, right? If it was just convenience, just sex, she would have cut it off. He'd have gone his way. Her husband would have retired, and nobody would have known. If it was just that.
Right.
So it's not
We
just
wouldn't be
that. These
talking
are
about this.
emotions are tied, which it shows
Right.
emotions are tied anyway, because she said she don't want him to be with nobody else.
Exactly.
Right. So she's also in denial, right?
Mhm.
She's also in denial, but before even getting to the denial, she needs to figure out her own internal compass, her moral compass. And
It's
if you
broken.
don't love, if you don't, yeah, it's broken. If you don't love your husband, just let him go. He sounds like a decent man. And that's also the other um unfortunate part to this letter, right? Here's a man. We can only go off what she has written. She spoke well of him, right? In terms of she didn't say he was abusing her. She didn't say he was cheating on her, because guess what? If he was doing all of that, it would also have been a whole nother letter, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she mentioned none of that. So I have to assume that her husband was faithful. He has been a provider all these years. He been for his family, her, his children, his home. And it is heartbreaking for him as a man to, this is the thank you that you get. Thank you for being a decent husband. Thank you for being a great father. Thank you for being a provider. Here's your thank you. I've been cheating on you for how many ever years, and I want to continue. Really, is that how you are going to treat someone who is really taking care of you, loving you, and being there for you, being a good dad, being a good husband? Is that really how you're going to show love and care? I don't get it.
Very selfish and self-centered.
Very, very
She's
selfish,
very
very
selfish.
toxic,
The whole letter,
very.
it's all about me, 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 and what
Yep.
I want and how I want it and the way I want it to be done. It's very selfish and very just revolving around her. You're not
Mm-hmm.
respecting anyone else's thoughts. You're not respecting anyone else's feelings. You don't care about your friend's wife. You don't care about your husband. Hell, you don't even care about your kids. And then you
Nope.
mad at them because they mad at you and you don't understand why.
Yeah.
Anyway,
She was sitting there with her little crystal ball, upset about what's going to happen 3 years from now.
yeah.
Right.
3 years from now, you sitting there, you want us to help you with something that you're predicting that's going to happen 3 years ago. That's going to mess up your life.
Right.
Why didn't you just cut it off? Just stop. Don't just
It was
stop.
too good. You know what? One thing I learned about most cheaters is that cheaters don't stop as long as they're getting away with it. They're gonna keep doing it because it's the excitement of it all. Like, oh, we're sneaking. Oh, we're gonna get away with it. And this and go home and cook dinner and smile and act like you ain't did a damn thing. But you was with Rolly Joe over there a couple all few days. But now
Why
you
his
home.
name got to be Rolly Joe?
Girl, listen. But now you home acting like nothing happened. So
Yeah.
it's just she's very selfish and self-centered, and
Yeah.
that is something you need to work on, because that is a lot of internal brokenness, honestly. And it's some things that you don't want to deal with and face, that you're going to have to face, because you're finna lose a good husband from what we can foresee based off of how you explained him in the letter. He is a provider, probably a protector. He's doing everything that a man's supposed to do with
Supposed to
his wife.
do.
And yet
And I'm sure
you gotta
he's so
appreciate it.
proud. Before, of course, she's telling him all of this. I'm sure he was so proud of him, so of himself for doing these things, and he did it because someone taught him how to be a man and how to be a husband and how to be a provider. And he's just, I'm sure he glowed, really taking care of his family.
Yeah.
And then now this. And there was a part that she talked about. They've always had, I think Ginny, you mentioned this, right? They've always had this open relationship where they can come and talk to each other, whatever. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do.
But they never had that. They never had that. Maybe he thought that he had
He
that,
thought
but
exactly.
no, you don't wait 10 years later and decide to have a conversation with
A
him about what you've been
conversation
doing
about
for 10 years.
right.
Yeah, no.
Because if
You've
it was so
misled
open, you could have
him
had that conversation 10 years ago
10 years
when it
ago.
started.
Right.
You'd have been like,
And
so
it,
Now you want help. Now you're
now
reaching
you
out to
want
Trinity
right.
coaches for help. You needed help 10 years ago.
you
Yes.
sure did.
And
So
it
you
would
worried
have
about the
been,
wrong thing.
and that's it too. The letter is purely about her continuing this dysfunctional lifestyle. And
Because
it's
it's back
sad.
about her again. She just
It's
wants,
so sad
she wants
because
it to be about her and her happiness. But I just saw a
was
post
she
today.
happy? Was she really happy?
No.
She
No.
wasn't
She
happy.
would be happy.
But I saw a
No.
post today that said, when you love someone, when you love someone else, the love that you have for that other person is not based off of you. It's based off of making them happy. You're not making your husband happy. You're making you happy, because now you are loving, just trying to keep you happy. And that's not what relationships or marriages do. We all on this platform have been married at some point in time. And love is not, and marriage is not about just worried about me, 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 me. I tell women all the time, the day you have a child is the day you go out the window.
I
It's
just
not
told
about
a
you no more.
coworker of mine that yesterday. I'm like, listen, enjoy, because when the baby comes, people gonna be like, who are you again?
Yeah.
That's right.
Roles change.
You
Roles
are no
change.
longer irrelevant. So I don't understand how you, and maybe that's a problem, because when you had kids, that's what happened. Life shifted because you were
Yes.
forgotten about. And so
I
now,
think
maybe
that's
now,
so
because
true.
because life shift for you and you were forgotten
Missed
about, now
out
you're so
on
busy
her
worried about
young
me.
adulthood. I think
Yes.
she's feeling that she missed out on, being in her 20s, being maybe single. I'm sure she had friends who lived that single life, no responsibilities.
No
You're
kids,
grown.
no husband.
Right.
Mhm.
So I think it's kind of hitting her, or it hit her 10 years ago, or whenever she started this foolishness, that she missed out on something, that feeling. And maybe she's calling it, lonely or bored, but it's really, oh my gosh, like I haven't really lived for me. And if her letter was from that standpoint, right, I could understand it. Right. I can definitely understand you feeling that I've always, from age 19-ish or whatever, 'cause she said Billy 20, you've been living this adult life as a wife, as a mom, and really you haven't maybe figured you out, because there was just no time to do that. Your focus had to be on everyone else. But here's the thing: what you should have done during those lonely days, what you're calling your lonely, everybody went wherever they went and went to tend to their lives, and you were left at
Focusing on
home.
you.
You should have, if you that lonely time, you could have figured out what matters to you. You could have used the time constructively. You could have
Instead of
used it.
running into the arms of another man.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Lifetime need to pick her up. I think she need to have a whole show. Instead of Sister Wives, she needs to have like a brother husband show. And she can have as many husbands as she want, boyfriends as she
I
want.
say the husband ain't gonna go for. Well,
Show.
she have probably been lost the husband for that, because he's not going. He don't
Yeah,
want no.
yeah,
He
yeah.
don't want
The
none of this.
husband, yeah, he's gone, boo. So you
Yeah.
need to start a new life and get your brother husbands and have your new show. So,
But you
why
know what? She'll
Lifetime?
be the next letter that'll be about, well, my husband left me, and now I have to figure out how my life is going to be on my own, because I don't
On
know what to do. Because that'll be the next thing. Because if the husband leaves her, all these years she's been accustomed to being taken care of by him. So yeah, maybe he'll have to pay spousal support, but she's going to have to face that path of loneliness and being by herself. Otherwise, she's going to be an older woman who's out here bouncing from man to man to man, because she
And-
doesn't want to take the time to look into herself and work on her.
and we know what happens when she get lonely. So it's not gonna be good.
And sadly, it seems like it's not going to just end because she's not satisfied. She's toxic.
Mhm.
So
She-
she's already have it in her mind that maybe she should contact the wife. So this is a seriously toxic situation. So she's not going to be happy. He's not going to be happy. The wife is not going to be happy. The husband's not going to be happy. The kids aren't going to be happy
Yeah.
because she's not.
And that's how you start off with a lonely life.
Mhm.
And it now you're getting to that, you know, you've been married 30 whatever years, your kid, you have grandkids. Is this really the time of your life where you want to really be by yourself and figure things out? I could see any one of us or anyone making that decision if you're if you were in an abusive relationship, if it wasn't working, and maybe it wasn't working for her. Obviously not, right? Whatever he was providing, she it wasn't good enough. So just just cut the ties and move on. Go live your ratchet life and let him live. He deserves happiness. He deserves a wife who is committed to him. This man sounds like a wonderful man.
But he'll
And
be one of those kind of men that probably will never want to marry again because she hurt him.
because he's hurt. Yeah. Yeah.
Because there are a lot of men out there that are living lives, but they're hurt because of the actions of what another woman have done to them previously. I just made a post about this, about men suffering in silence, because a lot of times they don't want to talk about it, or they don't want to, they just get out here and they just try to figure out how to live their life the best way they possibly can. And they do the same thing that she's doing. Go out and find multiple 17,000 women and do what they do. And that's the way that's their therapy.
Yeah. I feel so bad for him. That's he doesn't deserve this.
And
Shame
you
on
don't
you.
deserve him.
And you,
Unfortunately, it
yeah,
seems like it because
yeah,
you've used and abused him. Now he's going to
yeah,
have to go through extensive therapy as well to try to get himself from not blaming himself, because that's where it's going to go. He's going to blame himself for, it was my fault. Maybe I shouldn't have worked as much. Maybe I should have been home and given her more time. But that's not it.
right. Because she don't want him home, right?
She said that.
Don't
She
even want
said,
him to retire. She doesn't even want him to retire
So
because
basically, to sum it up, sis, we can't help you. We can't help you if your only regret is telling on yourself. We cannot
I
help
know.
you.
you
Yeah,
don't want no help for real.
she,
Mm-mm.
You want to have your
she
cake and eat it too. You want to still keep living the life that the fantasy life that you are used to living, and
yeah,
it's not healthy. It's toxic, like Jenny said. It's toxic as hell. And then you want to call the wife? I can't even. Mm-mm.
yeah. Don't that
This
please
one of them.
don't
Hello,
do that.
Barbara. This is Shirley kind of events. No, we're not finna do
Don't get me started, Leanna. Don't get me
it.
started.
Yeah,
Ooh.
don't do that. Don't call his wife. How dare you? Oh my God. How dare you?
So I don't know if you all have noticed, but now we're allowing our guests, if you are viewing us, you're allowed to join us live if you want to have some input on anything that we discussed in our clarity letter. So no one wanted to go live tonight, but look forward to that in the future when we do go live and we discuss our clarity letter. As soon as we give our opinions of the letters, you can go live with us and you can talk with us about whatever we discuss in the letter.
And you can give your input too, because we
Yep.
want to hear it.
We
Because y'all
want
see these letters we be getting, we be like, Lord, some
Mm-hmm.
of these not coachable. Okay, listen.
some
Like tonight, she's not gonna be coachable because she gonna be one of them. Nah, that's not how it's supposed to go.
but her situation is it's not even a life coaching scenario, right? It's
Mm-mm.
not. You
But we
meet
try to read every letter. I think
we
we've actually had this letter sitting for a little bit.
yeah,
But yeah, we try to read every letter. So we're being fair and we
we're
read
being
the
fair,
letter. Yeah.
right? And it takes a lot of behind the scenes, right? As you guys know, we meet twice per month. We go live twice per month, and we get letters in. We have to. Leanna has her pile to comb through and opine on, and so does Jenny. I have my pile. We really take it to heart and try to be fair in our assessment. And we want to encourage people to keep doing this, keep reaching out. We want to create that platform where life coaching is accessible to you. If you really have things that you want to accomplish, you definitely have a platform within our space. So please keep sending the letters, keep reaching out. But there are things that we just can't help you. We're not going to help you be ratchet. We're just not.
And we've had some ratchet letters. Y'all remember the girl that got out of jail? Yeah, I remember that letter. Yeah.
But no,
you want to know something about her? Her letter wasn't ratchet. She wasn't selfish. She was wanting help to get her life on track.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I think that was one of our best letters.
That was one of the best letters. But we helped her. We're going to coach you to be future oriented and future driven.
And
we want
you on a path to go forward. That's so right. It might have been a big crate, because then she asked for food stamps, so some dudes on the block
wanted us to help her find some.
Dudes on the corner. Yeah, baby, that was a good letter. But we helped her. And we had so many people concerned. I had people coming up to me at my job. Did y'all get her some help?
I remember. Yep, that was a good one.
Yeah.
But yes, but with this letter right here, you're not coaching. You're not ready to be coached. You need to take the steps prior, which, before the letter we talked about life coaching versus therapy. So you need to go to the therapy session, that section, and then holler at them. And I'm gonna tell y'all, I will say this because I have so many people that be like, well, I only want a specific kind of therapist. I only want a black man, a black woman. Listen. We are in the age now that you can specifically request whatever kind of therapist you want. So quit using that as I can't go sit and talk to just know anybody. Tell the people what you want. I want a black woman, man, short, tall, old, whatever. Those things are able to be allocated now so that you can get what you want and talk to a person that you feel comfortable with. And I'll say this, if you meet with a therapist and you just don't feel it's rolling well, you also have the right to tell that person, or not even tell that person, you have the right to go back to your insurance company and say, yeah, this didn't work. I need another one. Mm-hmm. It's your choice and your decision. People need to quit stunning. Y'all need to quit shunning therapy. Because, baby, listen, me and my therapist, we be rolling every other week. She be like, oh, Lord, here Leanna come. Yes. And I have my list. She be like, all right, what do we have today? Because, yes, it helps so much when you deal with things. It helps you see things clearly, because a lot of times we have blinders on. We have things that we dealt with in our childhood that we don't even understand or acknowledge or know that they are affecting us as adults, because that was normal when it really shouldn't have been. So yeah, that's my rant on therapy. But baby girl that wrote this letter, get you some. Get you some.
Get you some.
Get you some, baby.
Yeah. Do something or do nothing if that's what you want to do, because really
I'm gonna tell you this much: you do nothing, your marriage is gonna be out the window, and your man
it's already out the window.
It's already out the window.
If he is trying to make it work after all of this, then he needs therapy. Really,
I don't think he knows about the second incident, because she said nobody knows. So he's still trying to make it work. But she's still not doing the right thing.
We don't know when.
In denial.
Yeah, we don't know when she was caught. That could have been a month. Well, how long we had the letter? It could have been a month ago. It could have been 2 months ago. So
we don't know.
I don't think, especially with the her kids are also aware, right, of what's going on.
Well, the husband told everybody and the wife. I said, baby, this must be a small community for everybody to know everybody.
I don't think he would want to stay, and
because the trust is broken.
I think so. Yeah. And if he ever finds out that, she went back with the guy and whatever else.
Well, he don't find out because she want to call to tell the wife. So because she want to call to tell the wife, then she letting. See, things that people don't do is they don't think rationally, and she's in her emotions, as if you don't want to say you just.
She's not emotional. It's just sex.
No. Because if it wasn't emotional, she wouldn't be like, I'm going to tell his wife.
She lied.
It's a competition.
We wouldn't be here if it was all just sex.
Yep, because you can go find sex
anywhere.
You don't
And
have
he
to be
didn't
worried
tell you.
about him and his wife or whatever. You can find sex
Right.
if it's just sex.
Well, whoever
It
else he
wouldn't
want to
be
deal with,
there.
if he want to deal with 16 other women, you'd be like, just make sure you book me in for my time, my
That's
slot this
it.
day, this time. That's it.
That's
But
it.
you
And it
talking
would
about
have
no,
been,
he can't have them options. So that means his emotions evolve. You care too much.
there's a lot for her to hang on 15 whatever number of years. There are more than emotions are involved.
How can
Emotions
I
and
not be
some
worth keeping?
what?
Yeah.
Ma'am, his wife, the one that he vowed to love, honor, cherish, all that other stuff.
Well, he ain't doing none of that either.
If he's not committed to her,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not sure he would be committed to you. Like, yeah,
No.
no. Deuces, bye.
Mm.
No,
Well, it's 9:05.
no way.
Yes. It's 9:05.
No.
We
Ah,
be having us a good old time. That's why
Yeah, we
time
do.
be going by so fast.
Mhm.
9:05. Okay. Well,
You just had to verify that.
Yeah, she had to make sure, you know, because I ain't got my glasses on.
Oh gosh.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
that's it for tonight's show, everybody. We will be back on the 18th, which is the day after my birthday.
What? Look, we got all these birthdays going
We
on.
hitting
And all
No,
this
I'll be the good old 51, August
Look
the
at you,
17th.
girl. Look
Look
at you,
at
girl.
I
Yeah.
know, right? Well, you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you in about 2 weeks.
2
Yes,
weeks.
we will. Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.